But when I watched the DVD of the first 8 episodes, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Tamaki Suo. I love this show. It's so funny. Question? Yes, sir.
What's been one of your most fulfilling production experiences?
Most fulfilling production experience. You know what? From an anime standpoint, you know what one of my favorite experiences was? Oran High School. You know, and I talked about this before, and if you've heard this story, please forgive me. But the reason why is because I fell in love with this show before the show was even licensed. Now you need to understand, I'd probably done 100 shows by the time Oran came along. So there was kind of a pattern. You don't even know what the show is about until you get cast. And then you find out about the show, and then you dub the show as you're learning about the show, and you don't really know a great deal. With Oran, somebody told me about the show and then gave me a disc of the first 8 episodes of the show, and I watched them in Japanese long before it was even licensed by an American company. So you need to understand, this is before there's ever even any hope that you would ever get the chance to play a role in the show. It would have to be licensed by a company. Then it would have to be licensed by a company that you work with. Then you'd have to audition and you have to get cast. So there were several steps away from ever getting to play a role in Oran High School. But when I watched the DVD of the first 8 episodes, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Tamaki Suo. I love this show. It's so funny. And Tamaki is what a fun character. But I thought, well, this is really dumb of me, falling in love with this show, and it's not even licensed. Well then, as luck would have it, it got licensed by Funimation. So I do a lot of work with Funimation. And then I auditioned for it, and again, you know, probably 100 people auditioned. And when I went in to audition for it, I walked in and Caitlin Glass said, well, we know who you want to audition for. It's like, yeah, okay. And so I did my best with the Tamaki audition, and then she said to me the worst words you never want to hear. She goes, is there anyone else you want to audition for? So I did, like, I auditioned for, like, Kyoya, and I auditioned for one of the twins, and then I left, and I was actually at KawaiiCon in Hawaii when she called me and said that I was going to get to play Tamaki. And so from that moment on, every time I recorded every time I recorded Oran, I savored every line. I was just so jazzed that I was able to be a part of this show. So that was probably one of my most rewarding animation experiences. Another one would have been to be a part of the new Sonic the Hedgehog game. Because Sonic is kind of like an icon, you know, and you know, I remember Sonic when I was young, and so to be a part of a video game. Some of my anticipated fun, like most rewarding experiences, I have yet to experience. Most of you know that I'm an extremely hardcore Star Trek fan. Not all the series, but the original series specifically. And since I was a little kid, I always dreamed of playing Captain Kirk. I made my own costumes and built my own little bridge sets in the woods and got my friends to dress up in costumes and make little movies. And then even recently, I've worked on several episodes with another fan-based production, playing roles and directing and stuff like that. But they've already got a Captain Kirk. And so obviously I was never going to be playing Captain Kirk on that series. And so recently myself and a few other friends have started really moving towards, I'll get the chance to play Captain Kirk. So you guys be looking out for it, all right? Because it's going to be great. I'm sure. And we've got a lot of great people, and we're building the sets, and oh my gosh, it's awesome. So keep your eyes open for that. And in fact, Casey is going to be working with us on that. That's actually how I know Casey and his sweet wife is through Star Trek. And we've got a lot of great people, effects people, and sound, and editing, props people and costume people lined up to be a part of this. It's going to be pretty cool.
Is it live action or animation?
Live action. No, live action. Yeah. Yeah. Question? Any more? Speaking of which, I got to show you something fun too, right? Yes.
Back to when you said you watched Oron before it was licensed. How did you watch it? Were there subtitles?
Yeah, it was subtitled. Yeah. I don't even know where they got the CD. Or it was a disc with 1 through 8 on it, and it was I don't even know where it came from. It just had scribbled on it Oron 1 through 8. Okay, I'll watch it. Question. Shmi? Go, Robert.
If you were the captain of your own starship,
I like this question already.
which villain would you feel most uncomfortable being pitted against? Either Khan Noonien Singh or Darth Vader?
Well, you know, Khan is just a human. He doesn't have any, not really. He's a little stronger than the average human, but he doesn't have any powers of the Force. So I think that makes Darth Vader a little more dangerous. Plus, his ship's a lot bigger. He's got a big ship, that guy. But yes, Shamim, question. How many of you guys have seen? I know you have, but how many of you guys have seen a little live action thing that I did called Full Metal Fantasy? How many of you have seen? Really? Are you serious? That's all? Okay, then we'll show that. Let me tell you what you're about to see, and we'll get this one ready. Very shortly after we started recording Full Metal Alchemist, I just got really excited about the show. I had done a lot of anime up to that point, but nothing had really grabbed me the way Full Metal did. And so I was at a convention, and a fan came up dressed as Edward Elric, and they said, "Hey, would you let me take a picture of you wearing my red coat?" So I put on their coat, and I'd never put on the red coat before. And I put it on, and suddenly, like 100, fans are taking videos, taking pictures. And as I was flying back home, I thought to myself, what would be a plausible story idea whereby a grown man, a tall man like myself, could cosplay as Edward Elric. And so I made up this story idea. I didn't think much about it. I just made it up and I wrote it down on my laptop. And then I started thinking about it more. I started thinking, I've never seen a voice actor cosplay as one of their characters. So then I started thinking I should ask some of the other voice actors from Full Metal Alchemist if they would be interested in being in this with me. And I started asking several of them, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds like fun." So I finished writing the story, and like I may or may not have said, I have a lot of background in film. My degree from college is actually in film, and so I know about like shooting and editing and all that kind of thing, directing and stuff like that. So we got together one weekend in Houston, Texas, and I had a bunch of Risen Bull Rangers come down they came from Dallas, Austin, and Houston, and they played all the extras in the scenes. And several voice actors drove down from Dallas, and everybody was responsible for their own costume, their character. So all these voice actors showed up with their own costumes that they'd made, and we shot what I'm about to show you. Now, what makes it special is this. After we shot it and finished it, I started showing it at conventions, and the fans just absolutely loved it. And it started getting really popular, and then Funimation called. Oh. And they said, "What is this Full Metal Fantasy thing?" I was like, "Well, it's a fan film I made. This is just for fun." And no. They're like, "Look, we don't want the Japanese who own Full Metal Alchemist, the company that owns it, we don't want them to get mad at us because you made some live action Full Metal Alchemist thing. We don't have permission to do that." I'm like, "Well, but this isn't an official thing. And nobody's making any money. It's purely for fun. It's a fan film." And they're like, yeah, but Vic, you're Ed. They're like, that would be like Mark Hamill making a Star Wars fan. There's a real, you know, you're under contract with Funimation, and there's really a fine line there. And the Japanese may not be able to delineate between it's just you having fun and Funimation making a live action thing. So they asked me to table it. They asked me to stop showing it. So I did for several years. And it was just last year that a good friend of mine that works for Funimation called me and said, I have some good news for you. If you will let me know when you intend to show it, you may start showing Full Metal Fantasy again at the conventions. So that's going to make this special. We'll watch it today. We have control of the lights too, I guess, right? All right, well, go ahead and, if you would, wake that baby up. No, that's not it. Oh, I told you I got a lot of fun things on it. Go back to the menu. Click menu on the DVD. Yeah, that was me at 10 years old thinking I was Captain Kirk. I got all kinds of fun things on this disc. Yes?
I would like to think it's okay with you, that'll be fine.
Well, we're going to run out of time now. No, you need to go back to the menu.